But gradually the models of those elementary rusticities became stranger and stranger to the eye the nearer I came to know them. Beyond the tilled plain, beyond the toy roofs, there would be a slow suffusion of inutile loveliness, a low sun in a platinum haze with a warm peeled peach tinge pervading the upper edge of a two-dimensional dove-grey cloud fusing with a distant amorous mist. There might be a line of spaced trees silhouetted against the horizon, and hot still noons above a wilderness of clover, and Claude Lorraine clouds inscribed remotely into misty azure with only their cumulus part conspicuous against the neutral swoon of the background. Or again, it might be a stern El Greco horizon, pregnant with inky rain, and a passing glimpse of some mummy-necked farmer, and all around alternating strips of quicksilverish water and harsh green corn, the whole arrangement opening like a fan somewhere in Kansas. Now and then, in the vastness of those plains, huge trees would advance towards us to cluster self-consciously by the roadside and provide a bit of humanitarian shade above a picnic table, with sunflecks, flattened paper cups, samaras and discarded ice cream sticks littering the brown ground. A great user of roadside facilities, my unfastidious Low would be charmed by toilet signs. Guys, Gals, John Jane, Jack Jill, and even Bucks Does. While, lost in an artist's dream, I would stare at the honest brightness of the gasoline paraphernalia against the splendid green of oaks, or at a distant hill scrambling out, scarred but still untamed, from the wilderness of agriculture that was trying to swallow it. At night, tall trucks studded with coloured lights, like dreadful giant Christmas trees, loomed in the darkness and thundered by the belated little sedan. And again next day a thinly populated sky, losing its blue to the heat, would melt overhead, and Lo would clamour for a drink, and her cheeks would hollow vigorously over the straw, and the car inside would be a furnace when we got in again, and the road shimmered ahead with a remote car changing its shape mirage-like in the surface glare, and seeming to hang for a moment, old-fashionedly square and high, in the hot haze. And as we pushed westward, patches of what the garage man called sagebrush appeared, and then the mysterious outlines of table-like hills, and then red bluffs ink-blotted with junipers, and then a mountain range dun grading into blue, and blue into dream, and the desert would meet us with a steady gale, dust-grey thorn bushes and hideous bits of tissue paper mimicking pale flowers among the prickles of wind-tortured withered stalks all along the highway, in the middle of which there sometimes stood simple cows, immobilized in a position, tail left, white eyelashes right, cutting across all human rules of traffic. My lawyer has suggested I give a clear, frank account of the itinerary we followed, and I suppose I have reached here a point where I cannot avoid that chore. Roughly during that mad year, August 1947 to August 1948, our route began with a series of wiggles and whirls in New England, then meandered south, up and down, east and west, dipped deep into ce qu'on appelle Dixieland, avoided Florida because the Farlows were there, veered west, zigzagged through corn belts and cotton belts. This is not too clear, I'm afraid, Clarence, but I did not keep any notes and have at my disposal only an atrociously crippled tour book in 3 volumes, almost a symbol of my torn and tattered past, in which to check these recollections. Crossed and recrossed the Rockies, straggled through southern deserts where we wintered, reached the Pacific, turned north through the pale lilac fluff of flowering shrubs along forest roads, almost reached the Canadian border, and proceeded east across good lands and bad lands, back to agriculture on a grand scale, avoiding, despite Little Low's strident remonstrations, Little Low's birthplace, in a corn, coal and hog-producing area, and finally returned to the fold of the east, petering out in the college town of Beardsley.